Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the Doctor himself.
Hello.
Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC while fielding questions from listeners just like you. Try to keep it a little normal this time.
That was nice.
Yeah.
It felt like you were maybe hosting like late night radio.
Oh.
Yeah. Like Venus Flytrap on WKRP.
Ooh, this is producer Richard on the ones and twos.
On the ones and twos. You do it in 60 seconds and then just repeat it again. Yeah. I love that.
Oh, we got a review.
Heyo.
Hey, they are rolling in, and
we are on our way to 52.
I love you guys for it. I really do. From Theodore Papadopoulos.
I was trying to come up with something, and I don't have it.
He's Papadopoulos in it. He's popping off
Adopoulos.
With a 5-star review on Facebook. They go on to say, one of the rare podcasts that calms my raging G heart. You don't get it. You don't get a drop in on the reviews. You have to. That's a goddamn question for that.
The mask is off.
Theodore, the raging G, Papadopoulos. He says, got the hint? Yeah, by saying your name, I think I got the
It'd be very funny if he wasn't Raging G, but just submitted this review to claim Raging G's identity.
He's Aranya. He's obviously Aranya.
And then then Raging G would be like, no, that's not me. Be like, all right, Raging G. All right, Theo. He's just claiming someone else's handle. Sorry, what else did he write?
The hosts have great chemistry. Well, it's not the kind that you think it is. And
we do now.
Yeah. Being able to teach you so much stuff about DC to make you laugh with their jokes and how real they are.
We're so real.
Yeah, keeping it real. So this one time when I was a child, so my uncle came over.
No, too real.
No, I just thought they wanted it.
No, that's too real.
But
anything that might like help you grow emotionally, you should just keep inside.
Good point. I wouldn't want to change this amazing format.
We've got great chemistry.
Yeah. Why would I fuck that up?
Nobody breathe. No, don't move.
They have a lot of episodes focusing on one specific thing, and each one is great. Check their first episodes.
Oh, God.
Epic stuff there. Please don't do that.
Jesus.
Yeah, you know what? Just think of this as a forward-moving train. You don't want to go backwards in the train. You want to stay at the front.
Backwards is where the poors are.
That's right.
Because it's Snowpiercer, I guess.
Yes. Especially if you're a child. Stay at the front. That's how we keep this thing moving, right?
Jesus.
It's a great podcast that from the moment I heard one episode, I was instantly hooked and checked out all their episodes, and I loved each one. Keep up the good work, guys.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that'll get me through the next week.
We did it.
Oh, God.
How many reviews are we at right now? Is that like 34 or 35?
Something like that, yeah.
We're chugging along.
52.
Yeah. And just a reminder, the video episode is coming.
Yes.
We're just assembling.
It'll be before the end of this month.
Assembling appropriate equipment,
yes,
basically.
It'll be before the end of this month.
We will reward you for getting us to 30 reviews. We'll get that video episode out.
Amazon has told me it will arrive between July 7th and July 29th.
That's a very
wide window. Yeah. So before the end of this month, you will get it.
Yeah.
We all get yours.
Yeah, you'll get it.
All right, now on to the news. Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans trailer officially released.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, it looks fun.
Have you seen
it yet?
No, I think I should watch it right now because I haven't seen it yet. I've been looking forward to it. How appropriate, because they're talking about the multiverse.
Yeah.
You know what the humor kind of...
You gave me like a weird look when Santa was in there. Santa Claus is like a longtime nemesis in Teen Titans Go. They have like a recurring like rivalry with Santa Claus.
Your child's gonna have such a weird like opinion of these characters. Like,
yeah, I mean, by the time if she ever reads a comic, she'll be like, oh, Oh,
What?
This is way less fun.
Yeah. The humor kind of reminds me of those Trolls movies.
I don't think
Really?
I've seen any of them.
You should see them. They're actually a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this. This actually looks really good.
Did you saw Teen Titans Go to the Movies, right? Yeah.
Which was so good.
I mean, my favorite.
I don't think it's going to be as good as that, but I think
favorite
it's gonna be
sequence in that one is after they've gone back and stopped superheroes from existing. When they go back and have to make them exist again, they push the Waynes into the alley and they blow up Krypton.
It's kind of amazing. I'm really looking forward to this. I actually think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, it does. I mean, in the show, a couple of times they've referenced the older Teen Titans cartoon, the more serious one. So there's already they're both out there. It's been implied that Control Freak, this character in the show, maybe changed reality, made the Teen Titans Go a silly, fun kind of kid version.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to blow that open. I kind of hope that you get. Well, I don't know. You kind of see it maybe right at the end of that trailer. It maybe almost looks like there's going to be other versions of the Teen Titans in there.
Yes.
Too. Yeah.
Which, I mean, that could be really, really fun. I suppose, especially if they're
It'd be really funny
multiverse.
if they throw the fuck Batman Titans in there.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, they show up and it's like, blank Batman. That would be really.
Or just incinerate someone.
That would be really good. All right, next piece of news: Joe Hill to head new line of horror comics for DC.
Oh, I haven't heard about this at all.
So Joe Hill, obviously famed son of Stephen King.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on the back of his hit show Nosferatu.
That's right. Yeah,
which Jessica's been watching, and I've watched a few episodes of, and it's very good.
Yeah. It's got Zachary Quinto in it.
Yeah,
right?
it does. Yeah. Oh yeah, all over it. Really hot and really ugly version of him.
Interesting.
Because he's an old man that has to feed on the souls of children.
And that's
to become
the hot
young.
one.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Well, obviously, what else would it be?
Just
you sick fuck.
Just
but yeah, I'm
so an actual line of horror comics.
Yeah.
Are they bringing back any of those sort of classic titles? House of Suspense or House of Mystery, those type of things.
So far, the
or
ones
is it just going to be sort of new?
I think it's
comics?
new. So they've shown some of the covers below here. Basket Full of Heads is one. The Dollhouse Family is another. I'll show you the covers. Actually, they're pretty neat.
Oh yeah,
Basket Full of Heads here.
Oh, I see. These are all Black Label ones.
Yeah. The Dollhouse Family, Daphne Byrne, The Low Woods. That's it.
Yo, that looks dope.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, that's all, we've talked about it in past episodes a couple of times, but specific sort of genre comics kind of come and go. They don't seem to have an ongoing thing really. So it's cool to see that, we haven't really had much in the way of war comics or Western comics, especially recently, with a few exceptions. But yeah, same thing goes for horror. So it's kind of cool to see a bunch of those titles.
It's interesting that it looks like the series is going to be called Hill House Comics.
Sure.
Joe Hill makes sense.
House on Haunted Hill.
Oh my God.
Silent Hill.
What's that Netflix show?
Hills Have Eyes.
The Hill House? I think, yeah.
There's a lot of hills
and
in
houses.
Horror.
Yeah.
And houses, yeah.
It's very interesting. Shock you.
This is me doing the Charlie Day conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Tying
hills,
hills.
houses.
My God, it's all about him. Yeah, it's actually just Stephen King under a never name.
Yeah. He never had a son.
No. Neil Gaiman and David Goyer to adapt Sandman TV show for Netflix.
There had been talk for a very long time about Sandman becoming a film. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt was attached to it for a really long time. But I think it will definitely work better, longer format, like a show.
Without a doubt. There's so
much in there. I think you're ultimately setting yourself up to do a disservice to it, to try and just make it a film. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. I mean, I'm curious to see what they do with it. If they just make it really live on its own, because Sandman does dip in and out of main DC.
Yeah, I mean,
there are some really tangible connections to mainline stuff.
I'm assuming
I wonder
they're
if they're
going
going
to
to just like keep that, like adapt around that stuff, or if they're just going to adapt the books and like just do it that way, and then there'll be some stuff in there that's pretty mainline.
I'd assume that they're going to keep it within sort of like the Vertigo-y house. I can't imagine them going too far out unless it's Netflix. Anything's possible. But.
I mean, Sandman doesn't revolve around. It wouldn't be the end of the world to sort of change some of that stuff. No. But like if they were bringing like Daniel Hall in, for example, Daniel Hall has a very like distinct superhero lineage.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very interested. I think it would be reasonable to assume that a first season would largely be, preludes and nocturnes, maybe a Doll's House. Like we would. I don't think we get too deep into the series in a first season. But I'm super looking forward to that. I hope, even if they do it out of sequence or something, I hope we get the stuff in the book that's like. You get that sort of diversion where it's like just you see that like there's an era where the fairy folk are like retreating from the world, and Sandman helps like inspire Shakespeare to write Midsummer Night's Dream, and it's like about the actual fair, like the real like. I hope you get like that stuff. That's the real fun stuff in Sandman. Is that kind of.
Yeah, I love that. I've been really looking forward to Terry Pratchett and Gaiman's TV show Good Omens.
Yeah.
I've been really meaning to get to find that at some point. It's a good year for Gaiman.
I mean, everything's coming up Gaiman because American Gods has had multiple seasons.
That's right. I mean, he's having a great run right now, and this is just touching the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Gaiman content. So
yeah,
I'm very much into it.
Oh yeah. I mean, Sandman is like maybe his magnum opus too. It's maybe his best work. So yeah, very cool. Definitely a better format for it than a film.
I mean, it's no Queer Eye, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, they're really competing on the same sort of.
I figured Gaiman,
God damn it!
That's it for the news.
I don't have a drop to take us out.
And end of the news.
I'm producer Richard signing off.
Good night and good luck. So this week
I made you read something.
Yes.
20 minutes ago I made you read something.
No, I totally read it days ago.
Sorry, 20 minutes ago and several days.
Yes, that's right. Several days.
20 minutes and several days ago.
Yes, exactly.
I made you read something. This is our episode 123.
Yes.
And I was like,
holy shit.
123, that's kind of fun. And then I was like, hey, there's another fun 123. And it's Flash Volume 1, number 123. And the story is called Flash of Two Worlds. And it's the very, very first time that the multiverse comes up.
Which it's very interesting because they kind of
the official multiverse.
They very like flippantly like are just like, well, yeah, that there's like it's not like this huge revelation. He's just like, I think I might be in a multiverse. Like,
well, because it just didn't ever come up. There were Golden Age versions of characters like Flash, like Jay Garrick.
Yeah,
but then their comics ended, and then it was like 1959. When Barry Allen came around, it was like there was like 10 years between the end of Jay Garrick Flash comics and the start of Barry Allen ones. They were just distinct things. But in this comic, they both appear and they both acknowledge each other.
Yeah.
And they go like, oh, we're both the Flash.
Which is, I find they in the book, they did it in a way that was so like he very easily just goes, this is a little bit different. I think I'm in another universe. Like it's so just like
Well, but there are other clues in there for him. But yes, why don't we get into it? Why don't we talk about it a little?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is from 1961.
Yes,
and it's written like it's from 1961. It's very G golly for sure.
It's
1961.
It's early days.
Yeah.
It's the Silver Age.
It's a lot of like comic book writing.
And we've got the Comics Code Authority in effect here too. Comics have to be pretty wholesome.
That being said, I really liked it. I actually really enjoyed I think that like me really enjoying the Flash TV show, I pull a little bit more from
these
types of things, and I picture a little bit more and I think it also, the more I read of Flash, the more I go, man, they really did a great job with that TV show. Like they really like took all the really great parts of it and really like somehow modernized it without like losing what it really is, makes it special.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the artwork a ton.
So the general story in here, Barry Allen, aka the Flash, basically shows up to this community center gig. They're trying to raise money.
I just love
the magician hasn't shown up, and so Barry's like, "Oh, what if I call the Flash for you, Iris?" And she goes, "Oh, gee, Barry, that'd be swell." And so Barry, as the Flash, basically performs for these kids as this like fundraiser sort of thing. So
I love that he's got nothing else to do. Like this, like
he's fine.
World-class superhero who fights like some of the biggest crimes the entire universe has ever seen is gonna like save this community center.
Yeah, well, he's a hometown hero first, so he like
friendly neighborhood Flash.
He like plays tennis with himself to demonstrate how fast he is. He says something like, "I'm the first person that can win and lose the same game." But the big trick that he's going to do at the end is like a version of this rope climbing trick.
Yes.
And he's vibrating his molecules to, use a Flash ability to make this trick happen.
Yeah.
And he pops out of existence. And everyone goes, "Hey, where's the Flash?" And "Hey, lady, where'd the Flash go?" Basically, and Iris is like, "I don't know."
Yeah, and then they went back to the Sandlot to go play baseball.
Yeah. And then you pick up with Barry, where he does pop into existence, like out in like a field.
Yeah.
And he starts running. He's like, "Oh, shit, like, I better get back to the community center."
Yeah.
And he realizes he's not in Central City. He's in Keystone City.
That's right.
And this is starting to clue in for him. And I'll drop some external knowledge here is that
Please.
Barry Allen had like Flash comics.
Yes.
So like even when he became the Flash, he was like, "Oh, I read Flash comics. I can run fast. I will call myself the Flash." So he realizes Keystone City, all these things. He pieces it together. He was like, "Wait a minute, am I in?" He doesn't say it outright. But he goes to a phone book and he looks up and he's like, "There he is." And it's Garrick J.
Yes.
And he goes to meet him at his place, basically.
Yeah, and I like that he shows up and he's like, bursts through the door. He's like, "I'm going to tell a big secret to you that you've never heard."
Yeah. "Where's you and your wife, Joan?"
And first he goes like, "Where's you and this lady?" And he goes, "This lady's actually my wife now." "Sure, please come in and tell us this big secret."
Yeah. And then he proceeds to tell Jay his own story, tells Jay's story.
Yeah.
And Jay and Joan are like, "I thought we kept this pretty under wraps."
Yeah. How now we're gonna have to kill this kid?
It's kind of like there's a moment there where if this was a darker comic or a more like just like a weird like black humor kind of comic, they would be like, "Get the Joan, get the shovel."
Yeah. He's my dog. I'll do it, Pa.
But they basically discover that they're in a multiverse.
Yes.
That they're from different Earths. That the fictional world.
And they both go, okay, sure.
And the way they sort of write this off is that Barry's talking about how they must be vibrating at different frequencies.
Yes.
And because there are Flash comics on his Earth, the writer, Gardner Fox, real life writer of Flash comics, must have been tuned in to the frequencies of Jay's Earth, which is how he was writing Jay's actual history, actual exploits, as comic books.
I'm
as,
sure
as works of fiction.
I'd be interested if like someday like they wrote where like that writer actually was from that and he like got over to the different universe.
Well, we'll get back to like impact of some of this stuff because some of this stuff becomes weirdly important.
Of course it does, but it's interesting that like already we're getting a lot of the like multiverse lore in here, like the fact that like vibrating at different frequencies and like we're getting a lot of the stuff that would become canon. Right?
the sort of harmonic idea of the multiverse and comic books as gateways, but those two things become like foundational in like the multiverse work that Grant Morrison does and stuff like that, and where DC is now.
Yeah,
but basically Jay says he's thinking about coming out of retirement because 3 of his villains have sprung back up and they're working together. It's the Thinker, the Fiddler, and the Shade.
Or the Shade. Sorry,
yes. So the Shade can basically make and control darkness. The Thinker has his thinking cap. He can influence people's minds and whatnot. And the Fiddler has like basically like mind control musical ability.
Yes.
They decide they're going to split up to take them on.
Yes. and they basically they attempt to fight these villains to no avail. The Thinkers got access to the Neptune Cup, I believe it was.
Yeah, he's stealing this thing called the Neptune Cup from some rich guy's house.
Yeah,
and Jay goes to stop him, and the Thinker basically makes like mental projections of himself to tire Jay out. Because Jay earlier says like, I'm still as fast as I always was. It's not that just don't have the endurance.
Yes.
So he tires him out basically, and then Jay can't catch him. Barry goes to stop the Shade, and the Shade basically like makes a form of darkness that also has oil in it, and Barry like slips and like can't.
It's just like, it's also black, so I didn't notice. Like,
yeah, and he like can't run anymore. So they're sort of defeated on their own, and they reconvene, and they're like, gee,
I bet if we work together, we could solve this problem.
So they go to stop the Fiddler, who is robbing a museum or diamond exchange or something, and he basically makes them rob the diamonds for him. And meanwhile, the other two villains, the Thinker and the Shade, are like, the Shade's like, why was the Flash wearing a new outfit? He seemed so young. And then the Thinker is like, no, he didn't. And then they were like, oh shit, there's two Flashes. So they run down to help the Fiddler. And it looks like Fiddler's got it all under control. But then, of course, he doesn't. And the Flashes stop.
That's right.
Basically all three of them. They like super speed pull all the plugs out of the Thinker's cap, and Jay like speeds by the Shade and spins him around and knocks him out. And then Barry phases the fiddle around the Fiddler's hands, which is super fucked up.
Yeah.
So he basically cuffs him with his own fiddle by like phasing matter through him.
Yeah, I'm sure Jay was like, what?
They spent very little time on in that comic, but like it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
And they defeat them, basically. Yay, hooray, well done.
Then Barry goes back to the community center, and then afterwards talks with Iris, and it's just like, let's just say it was an interesting adventure.
Yeah, he'd say, no one would believe me. They'd say it was fiction. Wink.
I'm just like, that's your significant other, you lying piece of shit.
I don't know that they're actually together.
Oh, no?
Point. They might be like just early days dating or something. But,
okay.
But yeah.
Bad to start on dishonesty, but yeah.
Well, weird time to get serious. But yeah, so generally speaking, I mean, it's kind of a very simple story.
But that's impressive to take like a concept like that and simplify it to enough that you're just like, yeah, multiverse.
It's the very first time a Golden Age character and a Silver Age character met and explicitly were different characters.
Yes.
You know, like there's a weird blurring of Superman and Batman because they were just being published the whole time. Same with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But there is like a distinct marker, but like this is the first time that like we know there's a different Silver Age Flash to Golden Age, or same with there's different Green Lanterns, there's different Hawkmen, you know, all the Atom, a bunch of characters got changed.
Yeah,
this is the first time that they explicitly met. They don't designate their Earths, they don't give them numbers. We're still not there yet.
Yeah,
we haven't decided that it's Earth 2 where Jay is. Jay hasn't lost that coin toss yet.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, so even with a simple story, what did you think of like the writing? Like, you know, I don't think we've actually in these reading assignments, I don't know that we've read anything this old.
No, I don't think so either.
What did you think of that?
Honestly, like keeping in mind the time and the restrictions and things like that, it actually was fairly decently written. Yeah. I think that like also considering like they weren't really putting like certain levels of emotionality into these things, like they were really writing for children, like there's a lot of like things that you could add to this to be able to like handicaps that you can add to this, I think. And in considering those, I think that it's pretty good. I think like to modern day standards, it's kind of a hot piece of trash, but it's like for the time and what they were trying to do in the 60s is pretty crazy when like multiverse like theorizing is only maybe just started.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and I mean, even like, let's take some of those handicaps out of there. Do you think you could read more of stuff like that without being like, oh, they were writing it for kids? It's fun.
Yeah. Like, absolutely. I mean, the fact, I mean, I tended to like, I was just kind of like skipping through the fight stuff because I'm just like, I've watched enough like things based off of this time of stuff that I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like,
there's some, I mean, there's pretty standard stuff. At one point, and this image is on the cover, a girder is falling, and on a guy, the Flashes both arrive to save him. So Jay whisks the person away, and then Barry makes like a vortex, like a wind vortex to blow the girder back up to where it was.
But I've watched enough Flash. I've read enough. I've read comics and watched enough like animated television. Like it's enough that I kind of don't need to know what they're saying. I need to know just the bits. But what I care more about is sort of like the character on character dialogue and things like that. So absolutely.
Art. You said that you actually kind of dug the artwork in.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of the Golden Age and Silver Age stuff.
Yeah.
I like a lot of that sort of like old sort of craft paper type comics, and I like that older style. I think the simplicity is really nice, and people aren't trying to get crazy detailed, which is
I gotta say, as much as I grew up on Barry Allen Flash, it's a pretty iconic outfit. I like Jay's outfit better.
It is cool.
I like the shirt and the pants and the helmet.
The helmet's really
just
rad.
So classy.
Yeah,
like I don't know. It's just
If he wasn't such a bastard on the TV show, I would have really liked that too.
Well, no, the real Jay isn't though.
No, I know, but
that was Hunter Zolomon posing as Jay.
Yeah, but I liked that.
Baby,
version.
you got to let it go.
I know, but he hurt me so bad.
But yeah, I mean, like this stuff. I mean, this is so. Like I said, this is the first time we've acknowledged a multiverse, that the Golden and Silver Ages are meant to be on different Earths. But this is the beginning of more of these types of adventures. A similar sort of thing happened over in Green Lantern. Hal meets Alan Scott. That we get a bit of that. We start having basically little mini, not events, because that wasn't really a thing in comics, but stories like Crisis on 2 Earths.
Yes.
Or Crisis on Earth 3.
Mm-hmm.
And they start expanding this a little bit. You get to see different places, or when they write a new story, they say like, oh, this takes place over here. Sometimes they would give them a ridiculous number. Like there's a lot of pre-Crisis multiverse Earths originate in the Superman's Girlfriend Lois Lane series, because there's always like an Earth where he marries the wrong person or something like so they give it like a weird number like 316A, and it's like, oh, he married Lana Lang and me. It's like there's all sorts of weird crap like that. But you start like piling these different Earths on. Different writers use them for distinct stories. We get, when Captain Carrot, when that's a thing, they're like, make him an Earth. He's Earth C. And then Captain Carrot himself is a cartoonist. So then the world he cartoons is Earth C minus. Because again, comic books were setting up this idea too, that and carrying it forward from this issue, that comic books form the window into other Earths. And all of this stuff carries forward all the way to Grant Morrison, who is basically the man they put in charge of, like, how does the multiverse work?
Yeah.
Between essentially like Final Crisis and Multiversity, Grant Morrison has sort of said, this is how the multiverse works, basically. And comic books are still that thing. If you're on Earth 2, you could read a comic that might be Earth 23. And all of those events would have actually happened there. And on Earth 23, they would have read Earth 13.
We're basically like, so whoever is writing them are vibrating in a way that they can,
or they're tuned into those, because and the vibrational thing. So obviously, the Flash is a big part of that, because he's a big part of how they can travel from Earth to Earth, just with his power set.
I got to tell you.
But then,
they did something like this on Supernatural.
I hate you so much.
They have a guy who ends up becoming like a prophet,
right?
Who essentially is like writing the stories, like writing these comic book series, the graphic novels of the two characters, and they end up going to this like comic convention of themselves,
right?
And the guy only later on finds out that he's like a prophet, and that's why he's been given these abilities, and that's
through time as opposed to different dimensions, right?
Well, it's not even through time; it's just that but he's just writing at the same time that they're doing all these adventures, and not realizing.
Oh, I see.
And then you find out later that like this was like the modern prophet sort of thing, where like before they would write them on like scripture, and now the modern version is that he makes them into like graphic novels.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
It's a great show. You should watch it.
Well, what I was going to say, where Morrison took that harmonics thing, is that So every Earth does vibrate at its own frequency, but for the monitor, the sort of being that kind of oversees the multiverse, he has a ship called the Ultima Thule, and that ship is basically
It's a great ship name.
It's powered by like a giant like organ and like a harp, and you have to tune to the Earth you want to go to. Like, it's very like
less cool.
This is a thing we've talked about in a different episode. In Final Crisis, Superman has to whistle into the Miracle Machine. But again, it's about this like vibrational frequency saving the multiverse.
I like the idea that like Superman, but he's so good at everything, but he just like can't whistle.
He's got bad pitch. Yeah,
he just can't. Like, you know, some people just can't.
Soup's F sharp.
Like trying to do that finger thing, you know, where people put the two fingers in I can't.
That would be the one thing he can't do. Yeah, especially in that moment.
Oh, yeah.
Would you recommend this story?
Hell yeah. If you want to get into the Flash and you want to sort of appear into sort of its origins, I think this is a great book and it helps you understand. I mean, it doesn't really help you understand the multiverse, but
no, because this is like the first time they thought of it.
But I would say it's a fun reference piece of material that I like. If you were reading the Flash and were like, oh, like where did this whole multiverse thing start? And then you could go back and read that, and that would be a fun sort of piece to add on to it. I don't think it's in a line of books that you need to be reading, which is I like that. I mean, you know that I'm a fan of like being able to jump in with these books. This is a great one to like even have as part of a collection. It's fun to.
Are you at all interested? Did it spark any interest in sort of Jay Garrick's world, Earth 2 or the Golden Age? You know, because you spend most of this on his Earth fighting his villains. Is there anything where you were like, oh yeah, let's learn a bit more about Jay Garrick's?
This is where I think I would be diving in, was if I had access to like a coffee table book of all of these stories that I could just kind of thumb through every once in a while, I would totally do that.
Yeah.
I do do I want to like be a collector and get all the originals? No.
Well, no. But I mean, some of them are available digitally and things.
Yeah, I think I would love to just be able to once in a while thumb through a story. I think it's fun. Like it's definitely a lot of fun. It's good for kids. Like it's very wholesome.
It is, yeah.
So it's if you had a child that you wanted to get into comics and they didn't watch cartoons and TV, then this would be a great way to do that.
Yeah, totally.
If your children were Rod and Todd, this would be an easy way to get them into comic books. There's a lot of violence.
I can't imagine that there's a version of hardcore Christianity that's cool with a multiverse.
So here's something that's really I've been playing the Simpsons Tapped Out game.
Oh, yeah.
And I've just finally got Rod and Todd.
Oh yeah.
My favorite thing in the entire world was Marge was just like, Flanders, maybe you should like have your kids go out inside and play, and they were like, okay, like go play on the seesaw, and they're like, yay, I can be closer to God, then you can be closer to God, then I can be closer to God, then you can. And I was just like reading it, dying. The writing on Simpsons Tapped Out is better than the show has been in over a decade.
Well, yeah, it's trading on older, better versions of the show.
Yeah, it's just like it's so well written.
Out of how many capes would you rank this story?
A solid 4 capes, I'd say.
4 capes, nice.
Yeah.
Well done. Flash 123.
Just put it in the platinum cape club.
It wouldn't be platinum. Platinum's 5.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a golden cape.
Yeah, how much are we going to steal from Doughboys?
I don't know. We've already taken the side podcast, so.
Yeah, which, we haven't canceled.
I mean, we didn't. We're just a podcast.
That's too much. So at any rate, like I said, I gave you this one. We've talked about how it's sort of the foundation of the multiverse because I thought this would be a fun episode.
Definitely.
To just, let's get into multiverse, parallel Earths, all that kind of stuff.
Parallax.
Parallax?
Parallax. Yeah, I was saying Parallax.
That's nice.
Yeah, let's get into it. We got a lot of questions, so let's try Let's try to jump into these. Right. Heading on over to Facebook.
Going to the face and the book. Going to the Facebook.
First question from our old friend, Chad Bokelman.
Bokel.
Chad says, I would like to... Oh, yeah, of course. No surprise here. Chad would like to voice some displeasure that the Doctor is choosing to do this before the newest arc of the Green Lantern is completed. Don't know what that means. Don't care.
It's because there's going to be some multiverse exploration.
Oh.
But it's also happening in Justice League, and it's also going to keep happening forever. I can't wait until we're done exploring the multiverse.
He goes on to say, it's a complete and utter cheat, and I shan't stand for it. Well, then you could stop listening. That being said, as punishment for your sins against the Corp, name and provide the origin for all the multiversal lanterns on the cover of The Green Lantern 10 by Morrison and Sharp. I'm watching you, Duck, you shifty son of a...
Oh, sorry, we lost your transmission.
Yeah, oh no, what a shame. I'm really broken up about it.
Yeah, so we're about to get into an arc in Grant Morrison and Liam Sharp's run on the Green Lantern that will basically pull together some Green Lanterns of the multiverse, many of whom have been referenced by Morrison before. Some have been created by Morrison, not all. Looking at the cover, I'm gonna go through some of these. So there's a guy on the far left with long blonde hair and glasses. He is from, I think it's Earth 37, but it's Dream World. I'm just gonna confirm what Earth that is. But basically, his name is Magic Lantern. He's sort of like a hippie version of a Green Lantern, because that world, Dream World, is sort of like a hippie kind of place.
Yeah.
It's got the Sunshine Superman and Prez Rickard and Brother Power the Geek and a bunch of characters like that. But yeah, Magic Lantern. Sorry, Earth 47, not 37.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's Magic Lantern. He's on the far left. There's a guy in the back who's all green and bald. That is the Earth 6 Green Lantern we've talked about before, Len Lewis. That's the Just Imagine, the Stan Lee universe. That's the one where he is connected to Yggdrasil, the World Tree. So he's a very powerful version of Green Lantern, but that's from that Just Imagine universe that we talked about, that Stan Lee created.
Yeah.
Just in front of him is a guy wearing a almost normal looking Green Lantern mask, but he's got a slightly different jacket, uniform. That character is Flashlight. He's from Earth 36. Instead, he's in a gay relationship with the Flash of that Earth, Red Racer.
Yeah.
But basically, that Earth, their Superman was killed. But he, instead of having a power ring, has a power torch. He literally has a flashlight.
Yeah.
He's called Flashlight. Next to him is a devil-looking guy. That's Abin Sur of Earth 20. So Earth 20 is like a pulp kind of universe. And it's interesting because it's sort of in a binary relationship with Earth 40. So Earth 20 is the good universe, and Earth 40 is the bad one. So Abin Sur is the Green Lantern on Earth 20, but he kind of looks demonic, so he does most of his superheroing sort of in the shadows or whatever. He's not a very super public superhero.
Yeah.
And then on Earth 40, his counterpart is Count Sinestro.
Of course, yeah.
Bad guy from over there. But yeah, he was part of this thing called the Society of Superheroes, SOS, along with Doc Fate and the Immortal Man and some Lady Blackhawk and some characters like that. So Abin Sur of Earth 20 is that guy. In the very, very front, we've got Hal Jordan from Prime Earth, Earth Zero. Next to him is a woman in a cloak. That's the Tangent Green Lantern that we've talked about. She is the one who, when she puts her lantern on a grave, she can raise the dead until they've basically finished their unfinished business. So we've talked about her as well. That's Earth 9. And then the very far side, that's the Bat Lantern. That's from Earth 32. And Earth 32 is basically a world where every character is sort of merged with another one. So there's Aqua Flash, Super Martian, Black Arrow is Black Canary and Green Arrow, but then Bat Lantern is one. So that Earth, that Bruce Wayne basically is given a power ring after his parents are killed, and it's sort of based on the Elseworld story in Darkest Night. But that's who that one is. Now, those of you paying attention to the cover will notice I haven't talked about one character. There's a sort of black silhouetted female character with a rainbow triangle and a rainbow mohawk. And I will concede that I'm stumped. I don't know. If she's not brand new for this story, then I suspect Morrison is doing a very Morrison thing and going back into like sort of like a weird one-off Green Lantern story and being like this character and let's make them part of the multiverse or something like that. I'm legitimately.
I bet the Green Lantern podcast has talked about
Vogelman, if you know, hit me up. But that's the one I can't identify. But all of the other ones, yeah, we've got Earth 47, Earth 6, Earth 36, Earth 20, Earth 0, Earth 9, and Earth 32. And then I think there are more that will be joining this story, but that's who's on the cover there.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Stephen Marion Almagro, who asks, which one do you guys think is better for DC? To have one cohesive universe like they did post COIE?
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
There it is. Or the current one where there are multiple universes.
Sure. So just a reminder, Crisis on Infinite Earths, basically at the end of that, sort of 5 surviving universes were molded into one timeline. So Earth 2, the Golden Age, became the first generation of heroes on that Earth. And then the Silver Age characters succeeded them. Characters from Earth X, Earth S. So Earth X is like Quality Comics, Freedom Fighters, stuff, Plastic Man.
Yeah.
Earth S was Fawcett Comics, so Captain Marvel, the Marvel family. And Earth 4, Charlton Comics.
Charlton Comics of our days and our nights.
The Question, Captain Atom.
Charlton Comics of our wrong and our rights.
All of those characters were folded into
I want Charlton Comics part of me.
One continuity.
That's it.
What do you think you would prefer? A single continuity where everyone's just in there, but you maybe have multiple generations? Or having these just parallel Earths?
I like the parallel Earths idea a little bit just because you can do more interesting things. You don't have to have a single continuity with a certain way of doing things.
Right.
You can really change up how you tell a story with multiple universes and the way that characters specifically act, which can, I mean, if you followed one sort of comics line, like one series for long enough, you kind of can get exhausted with just like, well, you know, like they do this, they do this, they do this, and then every issue is the same. But if you can kind of switch between Earths, you get the opportunity to really have a different way of telling stories, and just based on the fact that characters act differently because they're from a different.
And I think generally comic creators agree with you because you like the big thing that happened after Crisis on Infinite Earths when there was one continuity is then you started getting these Elseworld stories that weren't explicitly on another Earth because there were no other Earths.
But you could just be like, oh, what if he acted like this?
It was like, yeah, what if Bruce Wayne got a Green Lantern ring? What if blah, 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 blah. And so they just were floating out there. And that's kind of where Hyper Time came from, was the idea that like you could fracture the timeline based on different decision-making points, basically, and create these alternate realities. Kingdom Come, all of these things came about in an era where there was officially no multiverse, but
crazy.
They're clearly not the main continuity.
Yeah.
That's where why Hypertime came into existence, that whole idea. So like even creators, when they were like, we only have one continuity, they were like, I'm just gonna do something different over here. There still was basically a multiverse.
That's a problem for future comic writers to deal with.
Essentially, you know? And actually a lot of those Elseworlds have been made official multiverse Earths. Kingdom Come, I think, is Earth 22. Red Sun is Earth 30. The Dark Knight Returns, like the Frank Miller kind of Batman world, the thing is Earth 31. I'm just going to double check that. But yeah, I mean, essentially, they all agree. Oh no, sorry, Earth 31 is the weird. Earth 31 is like the pirate Earth. At any rate, you know, like writers and creators sort of generally agree with you. I think I do too. I like having the multiple Earths. Because there's also something interesting, like, because comic books themselves play such a part in the multiverse, the multiverse is really like about storytelling. So I like that there are multiple versions of stories, or that stories bend different ways based on their moralities, right? You know, like Earth 3 used to just be the good guys were evil and the evil guys were good. Like it was just flipped, and that's where the Crime Syndicate was from. But in the New 52, I like this new conception of it where it's like, no. This entire universe just values strength over compassion.
Yeah.
So even the good guys, quote unquote, on Earth 3 are horrifying monsters compared to people on the main continuity.
Yeah.
Like even the heroes of Earth 3 are like aggressive might makes right type people.
Yeah.
Like the whole universe bends that way. I find that way more interesting than just being in one kind of continuity.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. Let's leave Facebook and head on over to Twitter.
Twitter.
First question comes from our favorite spacey, sexy texter, Cosmic DM, who asks, if you had to give someone a crash course in the DC universe / multiverse, what books would you give them?
I guess it depends on how much
I give a shit about this person.
yes, and I guess how deeply I want them to understand. So, like a book I have it in front of me right now, open, as good reference, is the Multiversity Guidebook,
which is a really good understanding of the differentiation between them.
But the Multiversity Guidebook also has like actual story of that multiversity story in it.
Oh wow!
Like, and then in this story, they find the guidebook, and then you read it.
Read the guide.
Like,
that's of course, yeah.
So
that's fun.
I mean, I would maybe just give it to them just to be like, here's these middle pages. They just outline what the different Earths are like.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's actually very easy to digest. And then if people have questions, you can point them in directions of things because some of the Earths have stories, like actual written stories behind them. Like Earth 6, like we said, that's the Stan Lee Just Imagine universe.
Totally.
Earth 9, Tangent Comics. Earth 10, that's, Nazi Earth. It's like you can sort of distill it to basic ideas.
Yeah.
So if I just want someone to understand, like, what do some of these Earths look like? I would just give them the Multiversity Guidebook and say, ignore some of the story shit. Just read
the middle pages.
Read the middle pages that just outlines what it is. Because this book also has the map of the multiverse in it. That sort of shows the layout of the multiverse, where things are. I think it's a very good reference book that way. Now, if I want someone to have a deeper understanding of some of these things, I think a good introduction to some of this would be some of those early sort of Silver Age Crisis stories, Crisis on 2 Earths, Crisis on Earth 3, where you start slowly introducing other worlds or things like, or at least some of the main other worlds.
Yeah.
In terms of big events, it's tough to avoid something like Infinite Crisis. I mean, Crisis on Infinite Earths the other way, where you're bringing characters together and destroying everything.
Yes.
But Infinite Crisis was the rebirth of the multiverse. Basically, there's a whole section in sort of the climax of that book where Alexander Luthor is sifting through possible worlds to find the right one to build a universe on. Mm-hmm. So he's saying like, oh, what's this one? No, that doesn't work. He has to put people that originated from different Earths into the Anti-Monitor Tower to, like, as conduits, basically, to split the Earths apart. So he's got, like, Black Adam in there as a member of the Marvel family for Earth 5. He's got, I think Nightshade maybe for Earth 4. Like, you get some basic principles of, like, how some of this stuff works. Mm-hmm. Final Crisis is too dense, I think, but it has some of the most fun multiverse hopping. And like the countdown to Final Crisis, they go to different Earth, they go to try and save Earth 51, but it's destroyed, and there's stuff with the monitors. It's extremely dense. I would consider it like advanced reading.
Yeah.
But you actually go to different Earths, which you don't even really do in Infinite Crisis.
Oh, wow.
So I think if I wanted someone to get a grasp of the whole multiverse, I'd probably start with this guidebook. The Multiversity itself as a series, I would definitely give them, because it's basically just a bunch of one-shots that take place on different Earths. There's a one-shot that's on Earth 10, the Nazi Earth. There's a one-shot on Earth 4, the Charlton Earth. That's sort of Watchmen-esque. There's a one-shot on Earth 16, where it's the younger generation of heroes live in a world where their predecessors did too good of a job and there's no crime to fight. So they just become these sort of vacuous celebrities. I think Multiversity, weirdly, even though it's very high concept, might be the easiest in.
Also, there's also this great movie that was made about it in 1996 starring Michael Keaton. I think you'd really enjoy it.
No, that's Multiplicity.
I don't understand.
It's totally different. That's the one where he clones himself, right? And each clone is dumber than the one that came before it.
It's great.
I like the idea that there's like limited genetic potential in everyone. It's like, let's not overdo it.
I like the really dumb one. It's always really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe not Multiplicity, but Multiversity.
You're missing out.
Yeah, that's weird. I was steering away from that initially, but it's actually relatively easy to follow. Yeah, I guess that. And frankly, the current run of Justice League that Scott Snyder is writing, which is redefining and like adding new stuff to sort of the lore of the multiverse.
Yeah.
Definitely that too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from James, Paul's son. Who asks,
Nice.
What parallel world is your favorite? And what dead one would you like to see revived?
Ooh, interesting. Richard, do you have a favorite parallel Earth? Do you want to flip through this while I talk about one?
Yeah, ooh, that'd be fun. Yeah. I have some in my mind, but I definitely want to look at some of these.
So one I talk about it a lot, but I just like it. I like Earth 23. It's a Grant Morrison creation. It's where Calvin Ellis, Kal-El, he's from Vathlo Island on Krypton. He's black, and Calvin Ellis is his like human name, and he's president of the United States. He's President Superman. He's sort of modeled on Barack Obama. But this is an Earth where his presence as Superman has encouraged more like black like superheroes basically to come out and publicly crime fight and things like that. So the Justice League is not entirely, but more black. Jon Stewart's the Green Lantern. Nubia is that world's Wonder Woman. Like Vixen and Steel are on the team and stuff like that too. I really like that Superman though, because he's a guy who he has a very sort of sophisticated cover. Like he's co-opted Brainiac basically to like, he has some like robots that can fill in as like the president, where the president has to just be like at a parade. The robot president goes and he goes and Superman somewhere else. And then, there's something I really like, but that Superman has also demonstrated such like he's such like the core concept of Superman, just like good for good's sake, like trying to bring all of society forward. And he's a Superman that has also basically decided to do that politically, but not turned evil, right? He's not a despot. He's not a tyrant.
Yeah. He
didn't take over. He didn't say people can't be trusted to make this decision on their own, but he did say, I have a responsibility to lead. Like he's so like miraculously responsible and good. And I would love to see more Earth 23 Superman stories. And he's already a hero of the multiverse. He stopped Super Doomsday, which was this monster from Earth 45. That's the monster that killed, I mentioned on Flashlight's Earth, their version of Superman. Optiman was killed. Optiman was killed by Super Doomsday. President Superman stopped him. President Superman is also the leader of Justice Incarnate, which is like a multiversal Justice League. It's made up of members from different Earths.
Wow.
I would love to see either a Justice Incarnate or an Earth 23 series.
There's too many good ones, man. I really like Earth 42, where it's like the babies.
The chibi one?
Yeah, it's super fun. I also like the Earth 31, where it's like the post-apocalyptic.
The pirate, like Waterworld one?
Fucking really, really cool.
Yeah, Robin Redblade and Leatherwing. And
the one that I initially thought of was Earth 26, the cartoon physics.
Captain Carrot?
Yeah, that's...
Captain Carrot and the Amazing Zoo Crew. You get Yankee Poodle, Pig Iron, Fastback.
Yeah. I think the one that sounds the raddest, though, is Earth 11.
Earth 11's the gender flipped Earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where basically Amazons of Themyscira imposed their law on the whole world and changed it forever with new technology, philosophies, inspiring generations of women to take the lead in creating the future.
Yeah, that's a world where you have Bryce Wayne as Batwoman.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it's really cool.
The Aqua Woman from Earth 11 features very heavily in the Multiversity as a story.
Oh, really?
And she's dope as hell.
Yeah, she seems like it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, next question comes from Jake Murphy, who asks, How do you guys feel about the introduction to the dark multiverse and the idea of it sounding like a heavy metal power ballad? I love that part. That's the best part of it.
So, I mean, this ties into stuff we were talking about from Flash of Two Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of like harmonics and frequency is that, yeah, I mean, we mostly talk about it in terms of just vibrational frequency.
Yeah.
But all sound is being able to detect a vibration, which means that every universe has a sound.
Yes.
Technically. The dark multiverse, when it's explored in Dark Knight's Metal, it keeps coming back. You get some of these like hallucinations that Bruce and Clark both have when they're trapped in the dark multiverse. And it's of like they're having this campfire and their sons are there and they're like playing in a band, like, but it's this sort of sound of, yeah, like basically like heavy metal, like new metal kind of thing. And that's the sound of the dark multiverse. So there's this is as good a time as any as to just explain the idea. If we're talking about the multiverse as being this place of stories, it's positive matter. It's a positive matter multiverse. Each Earth is a different story. We get those stories in the form of comic books on each other Earth. There is a single antimatter universe.
Yes.
That is where Quard is, the Weaponers and the Thunderers of Quard. It's where the Anti-Monitor is. And the Sinestro Corps has used it as a home base before. That's the antimatter universe. The dark multiverse would be like dark matter, which in real life, there's way more of that than positive matter or antimatter. Mm-hmm. The dark multiverse is the same way. It's the realm where these stories are sort of forged, but the dark multiverse is where the ones that like never become stable, they don't work, they're broken, they're twisted stories. They just are sort of, they're broken apart and reconstituted. So they try again, try a new story. And it's only if a story becomes stable and good that it rises to the positive multiverse.
Yeah.
So the dark multiverse is basically just this realm of like infinite, broken, like horribly twisted stories that went wrong.
It's fucking rad.
And so it sounds like this sort of metal kind of, it has this sort of metal vibrational frequency.
We got Batman, Superman here. Ba-da-da-da. Go do other things you see. Ba-da-da-da.
So, you know, like that in the context of dark.
Or is it more like, I got my Batman. Yo, he's here.
Ooh, wah!
Yeah, that's more.
I mean, in the context of Dark Knight's Metal, you're focused very much on Dark Multiverse Earths, where the story is broken around Batman.
Yeah.
You know, one where he goes crazy and straps Barry to his car and slams him into the Speed Force, and they merge together and become the Red Death. But there are dark multiverse. There's almost infinite dark multiverse Earths for what could have gone wrong for any character ever. So there's so much more. The dark multiverse is so much bigger than the positive matter multiverse. Yeah. Awesome. It's kind of horrifying. It's like just this like infinite darkness that everyone comes from or could go to, you know? Yeah.
All right.
I love it.
Lots of new residents today. Next question comes from Moses RB. Let my comics go.
Jesus.
You don't like that one?
Let my comics.
I just like being able to say, Moses says, part the universes. He's a separatist. By the way, so for my new office, the landlord was there today, and we
is he a separatist?
Well, I walked in and I was like, Happy Canada Day, and he's just like, don't you know that I am from Quebec? And I was just like, whoa,
still part of Canada, bud.
Separate but equal, apparently.
Jesus.
So anyways, Moses says, do dimensions like sixth and fifth reside outside / above the multiverse? If so, does each dimension have its own multiverse? And if not, then what resides inside of them?
Right. So the fifth dimension is the dimension of imagination. It's where characters like Mr. Mxyzptlk and Batmite come from.
Yes.
They are imps of the fifth dimension. Their sort of vast, cosmic, infinite powers are basically because they're from a higher plane of existence than the rest of us. The sixth dimension was just beyond that, just recently explored in the pages of Justice League. Scott Snyder and Jorge Jimenez, their run of Justice League.
Yeah.
So, fifth dimension, sixth dimension exist kind of multiversally.
Yeah.
So if you look at the map of the multiverse, which is, if you type map of the multiverse, it'll just come up in Google. We've got it on our website. I'll post it again anyway. There's a bit in the center called the Orrery of Worlds. That's where all of the multiple Earths are. So they all kind of live in this one part of the multiverse. Then above that is this thing called the Sphere of the Gods. And it's a bit of a difficult concept, but the idea is that things like heaven, hell, Olympus, nightmares, dreams, New Genesis, Apocalypse, the Phantom Zone, Gem World, a bunch of these places exist multiversally. In some cases, that means there is only one of those beings for the there's only one dark side in the multiverse. And in other cases, it means that those realms sort of transcend one particular Earth.
Yes.
But you could theoretically access other Earths from them, but you might never encounter any. You know what I mean? Like if you go to heaven, you don't all of a sudden just see everyone in heaven from every Earth. You'd sort of be contained, but that sort of realm or its power or its energy sort of transcends a universe. Mm-hmm. The fifth and sixth dimensions work basically the same way, where they are multiversal, but that doesn't mean that there's only one Mr. Mxyzptlk. Technically, for a long time, there was an Earth 2 one, and his name was Mr. Mxyzptlk. They just switched the T and the P.
Yeah.
And that is a fun joke because that was originally just like a lettering mistake that early stories had it spelled
really
one way,
funny.
and later stories had it spelled the other way, but they made them two separate beings. But basically, those realms or those energies, the idea of imagination obviously transcends any one universe because all of them come from that. But the fifth dimension, the imps, the beings that might manifest in it, may be contained to a universe. That's sort of both an answer and a non-answer. But essentially what I'm saying is there's only one fifth and sixth dimension, but there could be many. It might manifest in many ways across parallel Earths.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sure. Is it like a pocket sort of scenario?
I would think of it more like this is a super reductive like image. This is not the best way to think of it. Think of it like a comb. There's only one comb.
Yeah.
But there's multiple tines of it. The tines don't touch, except they're connected to the comb as a whole.
Yeah.
So the fifth dimension is like the comb, but then each tine sort of dips into a universe. So there's a Mxyzptlk on one Earth. There's one on another Earth. They will never meet. They'll never know each other, but they are connected to this thing that exists.
So is that represented within this imagery?
It is somewhere, but I'm just not going to find it right now. There's a lot in here.
But it is in that.
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, there's a ton in here too. Order and chaos exist like on this map, like a bunch of different.
Check out this map. It's on our website. The doctor will post it again.
It's pretty crazy shit.
It's definitely worth taking a look at. All right, let's move on.
Let's do it.
Next question comes from Raging G. I'm sharp and bony. Raging G. I like pretty ponies.
That was very good.
Thank you.
That was worth the build up.
I have to really try. Well, it's also I have to try to think of something that's going to rhyme.
Yeah. That was good. I like that.
I appreciate that. Raging G asks, let's say DC decides to make a new line of comics, but for different Earth. Excluding Earths 2 and 3, which one would you like to see?
Well, I'll also exclude the one I said earlier. But I would love to see a Captain Carrot series come back. It would be cool to see Earth 26, that cartoon universe, get a series.
That would be so fun.
That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah.
I would be up for that.
Earth 11, I want to see.
Earth 11, you mentioned. Is there any other ones where you're like, yeah, I would like read a series of that?
I would probably read a series from the post-apocalyptic one. That's
Like
with
the
31
one,
or whatever.
or
Yeah,
31. Yeah,
that would be really fun. Just because I love the post-apocalyptic vibes. I mean, that's
yeah.
I want to see it all burn.
Jesus.
What? I don't know. Yeah,
definitely.
Next question comes from EC. It's so easy. First of all, listen here. I come up with the drops.
You're so defensive.
Yeah. EC may have reached out and gave us a great idea.
Which was a great idea.
A great idea. But I'm the captain now.
RESPECT.
Yes. I'm the captain now.
We get it. No,
I went to Drop University for a specific to major in dropology for this reason.
Dropology.
Painstaking hours.
I wrote my doctoral thesis on this.
Doctoral thesis. We've actually been writing it wrong this whole time. It's actually Dropter DC.
Drive the Dropter. Now I'm the Dropter.
Oh my god. EC asks, the DC animated movie Crisis on Two Earths and some Smallville episodes have storylines involving alternate versions of the DC universe in a way. If you could write a similar what-if story, would it be a comic, animated movie, or a live-action miniseries?
Oh, interesting. Weirdly, I think I would stay away from live action.
Yeah?
I mean, it's not because you can't do it, because you can. I mean, The Flash has been doing it for seasons now.
Yeah.
We get a new Wells from elsewhere in the multiverse every year.
It's true. Wait, hold on. Imagine if the next Wells was, like, animated.
That would actually. I think the show wouldn't. Supernatural would do that,
and
I don't know that the Flash would, but that would be hilarious.
Or so would
animated in what style? BoJack Horseman.
Oh my god! Could you imagine? Yeah. I feel like they would do it on what's the other show? The
Barrison Wells. He'd be a bear.
Legends of Tomorrow would do it.
They would do that, yeah,
for sure.
Oh, that would be funny. Yeah, if there was a cartoon Earth,
almost like a Roger Rabbit vibe.
Yeah, I actually really like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think I would maybe stay away from live action, maybe just for the artistic freedom, where the idea is kind of like what you're just alluding to.
Yeah,
where it's like, there could be parallel Earths, but maybe the entire visual aesthetic of the universe is different. Where it's not just like I'm a person in different clothes.
Yeah,
it's
like,
what, like I just look different. Like, what if we look like
features are drastically different?
Yeah, or something like that. You could do that in a comic, right? When you draw it, you can sort of imply some of those things. But I think I would stick to animation or a comic to play around with that sort of stuff, where you're slightly more limited, certainly by budget, but also by other considerations. If you're doing it live action.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like think of for Into the Spider-Verse, right? You get to put Spider-Ham in there.
Which I love that.
And Spider-Noir he's not just another guy in a black coat. Like his world is black and white.
I would love it.
You get to really play with that shit. Like
if like the Captain Carrot's universe with like Dark Knight's metal somehow
Oh god. I mean, technically, there must be dark multiverse Earths related to Earth 26.
Oh, fuck. Could you imagine?
There must be a dark because, again, Earth 26 is the one that made it to the positive matter universe. What are all the broken stories? What's the one where Pig Iron snaps Captain Carrot's neck? Or,
just starts to Happy Tree Friends?
Starts eating his cosmic carrot and gets his,
That's a movie or like a direct to DVD sort of thing I would love to see.
Yeah. It must be out there. There must be a dark multiverse version of Earth 26.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. With that, the Dr. DC podcast will be back after this quick break.
Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. all you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/DrDC, and you can browse. They've got unmatched selection of audio programs. So basically, the way it'll work is you'll download a title for free, and you can start listening. And that's it. It's that easy. So the website again is audible.com/DrDC, and you can get started there. Their content, they include a selection of audiobooks, original audio shows, news, comedy, and more from leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, and entertainers. I'm the one that I've picked up is something I've actually read as a physical book, but it's The Skystone by Jack White, which is like a retelling of like Arthurian legend, but like from the fall of the Roman Empire onward. I really liked the books, but it's hard for me to just find time to sit down with an actual physical book and read it. You know, like I've got a kid at home, I work a lot, but one thing I do have a lot of time for, I listen to lots of podcasts. Why don't you use it for books? So, I go to Audible. I've got The Skystone by Jack White. That's what I'm listening to right now. But you can pick anything you want. You get a free audiobook and your 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/DrDC and get started right away.
Listen to that Harry Potter. So well done. That's the one that I definitely love.
No surprises there.
Well, yeah.
And now back to the show.
Back to the show.
Audible away.
Imagine if I just did the whole ad like, what's the ad? It's funny because it's called Audible and you can't hear it.
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
Yeah. Get it?
God, you're funny.
That's what you come here for. Top notch, baby. All right. Now, we're leaving Twitter and head on over to Instagram.
Hey, we're back.
Didn't I say that?
No.
Oh. Hey. Oh.
Hip hop hooray.
Hip hop hurro.
No.
You don't like my Jamaican accent? Let's get over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram. Take some questions and answer them.
First question comes from it's ABC
Brooks.
Episode 1, 2, 3.
Brooks.
It's easy as ABC.
Brooks.
Episode 1, 2, 3.
Brooks. Do, re, mi, Brooks.
Brooks.
That was amazing. Episode 1, 2, 3.
Look at that. It's almost meant to be.
The last question we received from ABC Brooks.
I thought of it when we first read it, and I was like, when we first said the episode, and I was like, God, I really hope he asks a question. I've been waiting for so long. 122 episodes.
That's it. The culmination of all of our work on this podcast.
It was just for that moment.
Yeah.
ABC Brooks asks, who is your favorite reverse gendered hero from Earth 11? That's great. We were just talking about this. Love the podcast in general, but the episode with your wives is fire. Wow. It's getting a lot of heat. This can't happen again.
Yeah, I mean, how about you cool it, ABC Brooks? They're married.
Yes. At least I hope so. Oh, God. Oh, my God. My ring's disappearing.
The picture, Marty. It's changing. Right. So, I mean, like I mentioned, Aqua Woman from Earth 11 features very heavily in the Multiversity as a story. And she's pretty badass. She stabs the monitor in the eye with her trident.
Jesus.
What does she do? There's some sort of great connection between her and the Thunderer from Earth 7, which is like the Thunderer. The Thunderer is like an Australian Aborigine version of Thor, basically.
Whoa.
And so she says something like, I don't need your help. And he goes like, yes, my queen. And she like makes this like tsunami and stabs the monitor in the eye. And then he like thunders the trident to like electrocute. It's like, there's some cool ass shit, but she's super badass. I really like her. There's not, to be honest, a ton of exploration of Earth 11 though. So maybe more theoretically, What are characters you would want to see or stories you would want to see from Earth 11?
I think I would love to see. Well, I mean, obviously more of Aquawoman because that seems rad. But now that Thunder, that's all I want
From Earth 7.
Yeah,
Earth 7 is basically DC's version of the Ultimate Universe of Marvel. It's called the Essential Universe.
Yeah.
It's destroyed. Earth 7 is gone.
Yeah.
The Gentry destroyed it. The Thunder is all that's left.
Well, that's fine as long as they.
Earth 8 is like DC's version of the 616 universe. If you were reading this comic book on Prime Earth, it would be Major Comics. But that's where the Retaliators are, like American Crusader, Machine Head, the Behemoth.
Got a machine head, better than the rest.
Let's see, Earth 11. Other characters I would want to see. I guess I have a morbid curiosity about how you would approach a story about Wondrous Man.
Oh yeah,
because in a world where the Amazons were still women, and influenced the world, how do you make a story about like a man? Like the thing with Wonder Woman that works is that it's like man's world, but she's like, there's a better way. If it's a male version of Wonder Woman, he's like, there's a better way. It's like,
oh God. Oh God.
It's like a different thing. I'd be interested in how you delicately treat a story involving Wondrous Man.
No one could love a man like another man. It's the best option.
I mean, who would know better?
Right? Got the same parts.
That's right.
It's not Adam and Eve. It's Steve and Steve.
It's Steve and Steve. Why did you have to change Adam? It's Adam and Steve.
I don't really like the name Adam.
Just Steve and Steve.
Because they all have the same names. Same parts, same names. That's my rule.
Yeah, that's how we, from now on, that's how we pair off.
Yeah.
Interesting.
My name is Rickard. That's close enough.
Do you have any other Earth 11 characters you'd want to see?
I mean, I don't know if we addressed it in this. In that image, or at least that I saw, I don't think it was there. But it would be cool to see like a female Batman with a female Robin as well. That would be kind of cool.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah,
because obviously we've seen female
by the logic of
like
this,
Batwomen, obviously.
By the logic of this Earth, there's probably like a Rita Grayson.
Yeah, which I think that would be cool. I'd like to see that,
or a Jamie Todd.
But like also a female Flash would be rad.
Yeah. Funny enough, there's also, I mean, there are female Flashes on other Earths, too.
Think of how quickly they could put on their makeup in the morning.
Jesus. Easy Wondrous Man.
Hey, you're pretty cute there. What's your name?
There's a female Flash.
Better be Richard.
On Earth 10, on the Nazi Earth. Blitzen is a female.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. So is the Flash from Earth 9, the Tangent Universe. So is the Flash from Earth 6, the Just Imagine Universe.
Hot damn.
There's actually quite a few female Flashes.
I like that. Female Green Lantern would be cool.
Yeah. Harriet Jordan.
Yes.
Because they all have names like that. When you see there's a dark multiverse Earth -11, and that's where that Earth's Bryce Wayne ultimately like genetically modifies themselves to be part Atlantean. They become the Drowned, basically, if Batman and Aquaman were put together.
Yeah.
But on that Earth, things start going bad for Bryce when Sylvester Kyle is killed.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Great name.
That's I really like that.
Yeah.
I want the male Harley Quinn. Still called Harley Quinn.
Harvey
Quinn.
Harvey Quinn. I think Harvey Quinn was part of her gang of Harleys.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for that question. So let's leave Instagram and head on over to email.
Check the email.
Jesus Christ. I hope it's from a
I was building suspense.
Oh. Well, speaking of building suspense, this question comes from...
Tell me!
Puff cheek pastries makes lots of food, makes delicious treats for me. I wish I could cook.
I feel like it's been a while.
It's been so long. Puff ask, hello. Long time no ask to you folk. Well, there we go. As far as the multiverse is concerned, how often has there been memories of it collapsing before merging continuities? There was a case of Psycho Pirate.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Fa, 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 I'm so...
Yar, 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 yar.
Yar, 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 that's
yar,
right.
yar.
A mother is a boy's best friend, Psycho Pirate. But are there others? Also, Earth 32 holds Batman as a bearer of the Lantern Ring. Yes. Super interesting idea, but relegated as a one-shot. Are any one-shots that became full series that had a gimmick like Mix Origins? And finally, what part of the multiverse would our Dial Doc submissions belong? Thank you for your time.
Jesus. Okay. Well, let's...
So, first question: how often has the memories of it collapsing before merging continuities?
It's come up a few times. Not the Psycho Pirate one is. Psycho Pirate played a big role in Crisis.
You could have saved
Infinite
them.
Earths.
I left them all. I left you all the clues.
Snowman. Like the Anti-Monitor had captured the Psycho. Like he was a big key figure in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and in Grant Morrison's run on Animal Man, the Psycho Pirate was trying to manifest into real life some of these like lost, deleted timelines and characters and things like that. That's where some of the other ones like Magic Lantern. I think the first time he shows up is in, I think those issues of the Morrison Animal Man with Psycho Pirate.
You could have saved them. I put a knife and a note on their bedroom door at their grandmother's house.
He was
Psycho Pirate.
He was the only one that had like a continuous memory of the pre-Crisis continuity.
Yeah.
But as things would shift, or like in the middle of Infinite Crisis, as like the barriers of reality are crumbling, other characters would start to hold those. Like Donna Troy, we've talked about before, had some multiversal knowledge in her. Power Girl had some memories crop up as Earths were being recreated and things like that.
As a child, I like to murder starfish and shrimp. Psycho Pirate.
Because she was originally the Kara from Earth 2, you know? So yeah, it has come up before. Psycho Pirate's the real big one because he had a continuous memory of it. It wasn't like one day he was like, oh shit, yeah, remember those? In the case of Flashpoint, it's even come up, right? Where like when Barry comes back from Flashpoint, he's created this new 52 universe. He gives Bruce a note from his dad.
Yes.
And then that note is in the Batcave through the new 52, but he forgets about it. It's not until we get to DCU Rebirth, we get to the Button crossover, and then Wally is like, tells Barry, like, you have to remind Bruce, or Wally might even do it himself when he's trying to break into reality. He's like, the letter from your dad, like, remember the context of that, because he's just forgotten how that came to be there. So that sort of thing does come up. Yeah, about remembering outside of continuity. Yeah.
I have a hard time in social situations. Psycho Pirate.
What were some of the other questions?
There was a case of Psycho Pirate, but are there others? I think you addressed that.
I just addressed that.
Okay.
What were the other questions?
Are there any shots that became full series that had a gimmick like Mixed Origins?
Oh, the one-shot thing. I don't know that any started as just a one-shot and then became full series. Because there were, like the Tangent universe was like a collection of one-shots. Same with the Stan Lee Just Imagine story. But in those one-shots, you're weaving a larger tale. But they were always going to be a collection. It's not like they're like, all right, Stan, make Green Lantern. If it goes well, we'll give you Wonder Woman. They were always going to make all of them, right?
Yeah.
Superman Red Sun is a contained story. It's more than one comic book long, but it was always going to happen the way it did. Same with Batman and Dracula Red Rain. Same with, in Darkest Night is probably one of the shortest ones. That Bat Lantern one is probably one of the shortest Elseworld stories. It's not exactly been explored further, but the Bat Lantern will, like I said, be showing up in the Green Lantern series. So some of these things, they get more life later on just for fun. Sometimes it just starts as that. But I don't think there's really an example of one where they're like, let's just make a one shot. If it goes well, let's give them some, not that I can think of at least. Not in that way. The closest thing I can think of is, no, actually, I can't. Yeah, I think everything, for the most part, it started as a series, because especially with Elseworlds, you have to spend so much time setting up, what is the conceit of this Earth, what has happened here, that, you have to put more than one issue into it, basically. Like, I think you're guaranteed getting 6 issues or 4 issues or something just to tell the story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really think there is an example of that.
Yeah. All right. Let's. Oh, is that it?
Our
yes,
dial
the
docs?
dial docs. Which multiverse?
I mean, in a perfect world, our dial docs would all end up on Earth 15, which at one point was the perfect universe, until Superboy Prime utterly destroyed it. And I think that's my biggest hope for our dial docs.
Yeah.
Is that they're wiped from existence. Yeah. What do you think?
I think that they belong in the dark multiverse.
I agree, actually. Yes. Very twisted. Definitely broken stories.
So twisted, brah.
Yeah.
So twisted.
Yeah. Sorry, Popesicle.
You sweet summer child.
Sorry, Crime Apple.
I mean, you know what? You're bringing up just all the top tier references
Yeah.
there.
Sorry, Mitochondria.
Sorry, miso soup.
Miso soup. Minestrone.
All right, let's leave the emails and go on over to Reddit.
Where everyone's nice and no one's ever mean.
That's correct. From our other doctor in the house, it's Dr. Hoot.
Hoot.
Hoot hoot.
Hoot hoot.
Yeah,
But are they a dropter?
That's no, it's definitely not. Dropter Hoot. Who asks, what do the multiverse versions of the Dr. DC podcast look like?
Ooh.
Marvel only? Evil hosts?
Right.
Gender swapped?
Well, I would say that we've had a couple of broadcasts from elsewhere in the multiverse.
It's true, yeah.
I think Dr. Disney probably lives on like Earth 26, like that cartoon world.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
That's got to be Dr. Disney, I would think. That's too happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
That or Earth 42, like with the chibi, like tiny,
Yes.
the little league.
Yes.
So I think either of those would work for Dr. Disney. Dr. AC/DC is probably is it Earth 37? Is that the Thrill Killer universe? With a sort of grungy 90s, like Robin and Batgirl where they have guns and stuff, like wear leather jackets. I think Dr. AC/DC might be from that Earth.
Where do you think the version of this podcast where you just quietly each episode tell everybody everything you know about each theme?
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Hopefully that's Earth 15, the destroyed one.
Yes. What about the version of the podcast with a third host?
Right, yeah.
Where Colin's still alive.
Oh, Colin, if only he'd known. See, if he had lived on Earth 19 in the steampunk world, he'd have known not to trust Zeppelins.
It's true, yeah.
Or he wouldn't. Maybe that's where he developed his trust of Zeppelins.
Maybe he was jumping through.
He was from Earth 19 the whole time.
That's true, yeah, it's true.
I mean, we are clearly on Earth 33, which is our actual Earth.
Yes.
That's where we are, obviously.
What's the gendered swap version of this?
The gender swap version of this?
I think it's the same because men and women are equal.
Well, yeah, it would just be called Dr. DC.
Yeah. You
It would
bigot.
It would be hosted by Renata
Rochelle
Renata Vanier and
Rochelle,
producer Rochelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sounds a lot better than this.
They sound nicer than us.
No, they don't.
I think
They're meaner.
Right, yeah. Okay. There must be an evil version of us on Earth 3, I would imagine.
They've got no mustaches?
Well, I would think that instead of being like inclusive or answering questions, they'd be super gatekeepy on Earth 3.
Oh,
They would be
yeah.
like, welcome to the Dr. DC podcast. If you don't already know why you're listening, get the fuck out of here.
Also, if you're a woman,
cuck.
women leave.
It's just like, they'd be pretty shitty, I think. That would be the Earth 3 versions of us.
They only talk about the Golden and Silver Age.
Yeah, there'd be like Russian versions of us on Earth 30. That's the Red Sun universe.
Yes.
Yeah. And it would all be government approved. You'd have to like the podcast would be like, as per schedule, government has authorized use of talk for comic book. We are reading comic book that is very, very good.
Greatest superhero, Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, every issue would be like, Vladimir Putin, undeniable hero.
Yeah. Arrives at no confrontation because he is ultimate hero.
Yeah.
Saves day.
He shows up, filthy capitalist, realizes error of ways.
Putin still kills.
For greater good.
Yes, exactly.
Children cheer. Women throw bra.
You have failed this Soviet Union.
The Dustmadania Arrowverse. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious.
He fights with a sickle and hammer.
I mean, Earth 8 would definitely be like the Marvel Master podcast because that's, that would track.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's some we want to stay away from the Earth 10 Dr. DC podcast.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Herr Doctor podcast.
I like the version of this where it's actually like a doctor who from Washington.
That might be the Earth 2 one.
I don't know why you guys keep asking me about this Superman.
That might be that Golden Age one where you just are what your name is. You know, like
today we're going to talk about the ankle bone.
We've taken your questions about the ankle bone, and let's get into it. We're going to go over to Facebook.
We may have to do that episode at some point.
I wonder do you think there is a parallel Earth where there are no drops?
No, they exist on all of them.
Yeah. The drops on Earth 30 are all just the Soviet anthem. And like, let us go to Facebook.
Putin's the best.
I like that question a lot.
My dial H today his name is Putin. He likes to put in votes for Vladimir Putin.
Oh, mine is called Vladimir, and when you look in the mirror, you become Vladimir Putin, and you spread glory.
There can only be one Vladimir Putin. Take him away! Take him away!
No! Yet!
Now this has become the producer Putin podcast. I don't take questions because only my opinion matters. Let's talk more about me.
Let's talk about microphone.
Yeah. Why your name Mike? You should be Vladimir phone. It's really hot in here.
We're delusional.
All right. Last question comes from this ghost cray.
Ain't it, Jay?
Thank you. It's just like
what's she order?
Fish fillet.
That whip so cool.
That's right. The Cray Ghost asks, the dark multiverse is comprised of broken, twisted universes that cannot be. We talked about this already. Right. We have the Red Rain universe, which is itself a horror show,
right.
But considered stable enough to enter the multiverse proper.
Right. Can
stable universes such as Red Rain have dark multiverses built off of them? And what would those even be like? Would it be even more horrific or a more hopeful inversion that conflicts with the vampiric nature of that universe, or something else entirely different?
Right. So this kind of goes back to what I was talking about with Earth 3 before.
Yeah.
Like, it used to be that Earth 3 was just like flip everyone's morality.
Yeah.
So morality still existed on Earth 3, but it was like that world's Superman was just evil. But Earth 3 now has morphed into a thing where the universe, that whole universe, values strength over compassion.
Yeah.
So morality just is different in that universe. Good means something different there than it does on Prime Earth.
Yeah.
And evil means something different there than it does on Prime Earth or on our Earth. But it is part of the actual multiverse. So I think what you're saying between that and the Blood League, the Red Rain universe, Earth 43, is that you can have an Earth 40. That's another evil world. Evil worlds can exist in the positive matter universe because they are stable stories. Like those universes, the internal logic and clockwork of those universes is intact.
Yeah.
So yeah, dark multiverse version. I actually think you could get a little bit of both, right? So if you're taking the Earth 43, the vampiric Earth,
Yeah.
you could have a dark multiverse version where something is broken in that story and it becomes too horrific. It's a twisted version of it where they're not just vampires, they're like eating entrails, or like one of them goes rogue,
Yeah.
or, one of them becomes a werewolf and rips the other, like, you know what I mean? Like you could have something like that where the universe derails.
Yeah.
Or you could have one where it's maybe too good. Like I think it can go both ways, because either way it's upsetting the clockwork of that stable universe. So, yeah, I mean, you bring up an interesting point. The dark multiverse, they're generally horrors, but I think it's important to remember that they're horrors in the context of of their universe. Like there might be a dark multiverse version of Earth 3 or Earth 43 that's actually quite pleasant. But if you lived on Earth 3 or Earth 43, you would look at that and it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So just like Bizarro, right? Like there's that issue, that Action Comics number 40, when Doomsday shows up and then flowers start sprouting and he's like, no, because that's the worst thing that can happen for Bizarro, is that like flowers bloom and stuff like that. I think, if you had dark multiverse versions of the Bizarro, or it would be the same kind of thing. So I think they're always nightmarish. They're always horror shows. They're always twisted and broken, but it's the context of the universe that they are broken versions of, right? It's a very interesting point you brought up, but there could be something very pleasant there that is horrific in the context of what that Earth is meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what time it is.
I do now.
We've reached the end of the episode. We've talked about the multiverse, which means we are heading into this week's Dial Doc. Every week we try to come up with a randomly generated superhero, a villain, or maybe somewhere in between. This is pulling off of this is a reference to the Dial H for Heroes comics from old, who have been recently brought back. The concept there was that readers from these comics would send in ideas that they had for all of these different characters and superheroes that maybe couldn't have a comic book of their own, but maybe they could create a superhero of their own within these Dial H for Heroes for one issue. So a person would go up to a payphone, dial hero in there, and be turned into a randomly generated hero. So we try to do it on our own every episode. So that being said, do you have one?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Mine is called Bad Egg. And basically Bad Egg is like, takes the form of like a hen that only lays like rotten eggs, but the rotten eggs like have like utility. Like it could be like an acid egg.
I feel like you've done this one
to
before.
Like open up a thing, or it could be like a smoke bomb egg.
I feel like you've done
But
this one before.
Kind of gross rotten egg. I bet I haven't. I might have done a similar concept about having something like utility, but
okay.
But that's Bad Egg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine is I know where you got it from. I immediately the shaker. I get it. Yep. Mine is Melting Pot. No, it's okay. Nothing to do with diversity.
And that's enough with the Dr. DC podcast.
He's actually quite racist.
He would be if it's a melting pot.
His ability is can liquefy any solid matter.
Oh, okay. Can he do the opposite? Like, or like solidify liquids, or only liquefy?
No, only liquefy
nice,
everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it via heat? Like, is it just turning things to liquid, or is it melting them?
No, it's just turning them into liquid.
Gotcha. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, can he control it, or is it just anything he anything he touches?
He can't control it.
Is it like, oh yeah.
But
what a curse.
It's like Rogue.
It's a worse Midas.
Yeah. Much worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he can't jerk off.
Well, I think he could touch himself.
He'd get wet in the wrong way.
I think he could touch himself.
He can touch himself?
Okay. Yeah. I think you couldn't avoid that.
When I think about him, he touches himself more. I like that one.
Yeah.
We were surprisingly just like We just had them this week.
I know. It's not always a struggle.
So anticlimactic. Yeah.
I know. But obviously, we've been proven time and time again through Twitter that you guys can do a better job.
Oh, definitely.
But continue to prove it to us because we love getting them. So send us your ideas for your comic book characters, whether they be hero, villain, maybe somewhere in between. Use the hashtag DialDoc. And send us your idea. Or you can send us a question for next week's episode, which is...
next week's episode, we're going to be talking about Starman.
Starman waiting in the sky.
There have been like 10 different versions of Starman. One of them very inspired by that song.
He'd like to come and meet you, but he thinks he'd blow our minds.
And any and all versions of Starman or that legacy count.
That's a character I know nothing about. I'm excited.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's next week.
So send your questions for that, or you can just talk to us online. We're so lonely. We're so very lonely.
Yeah, my God.
Just reach out.
Our wives won't speak to us unless it's on the air.
Yes, that's right. I'm constantly recording. It goes nowhere. You can reach out to us through our Facebook.
Dr. DC Podcast.
Twitter.
At Dr. DC.
Instagram.
Dr. DC Podcast.
Email.
drdcpodcast@gmail.com.
Of course, that fancy subreddit.
r/Dr_DC.
Of course, the doc phone is now open.
That's right.
What do you have to call?
208-917-3238.
That's 208-917-DCEU. And of course, not only can you talk to us, but you can also read some DC-specific articles like this one on the multiverse that you have to go through the back catalog a bit to get, but it's on our website. You can read right there. So just go to
drdcpodcast.com/ca.
That's right. And of course, we love getting those reviews every single week.
That's right.
Keep giving them. Facebook's great. Obviously, the iTunes one definitely helps us get more.
Scratch them into the yearbook photo of someone you hate.
Yes, that's right. If you're a small toddling child, take a marker and write it on the wall.
Yeah.
Write
your 5-star review.
Dashel, I don't know.
Dashel, bring this podcast to school.
Yeah.
Play it for your teachers.
Hijack the PA system.
Hijack the system and give your 5-star review of this podcast and record it and send it to us.
Play episode 69.
Oh, no. It's too much Bueno Excelente in that one.
That's true. And of course, every week we have there's an extra episode of Dr. DC you could be getting every single week.
That's right.
Sometimes we talk about comic book stuff. Sometimes we don't. Like this week.
This week we don't.
It's as of today, the day that we're recording, it is Canada Day. So if you haven't figured it out already, I'm sorry, but we're from Canada.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
Oh yeah. You hoser.
Oh fuck yeah.
Oh, gonna eat some ketchup.
Oh yeah, just go sign up, eh?
Yeah, grab yourself a 6-pack.
Get another extra episode. Just feeding you the right left each week.
Yeah, get yourself an episode and then go out for a dart.
Yeah, going out for a rip.
Yeah, so even based on that conversation, we actually are Canadian. So, so we're going to celebrate Canada, and we're going to talk about all things Canadian. So, make sure to subscribe. It's only $5 a month, and you get a backlog of episodes. So
there's so many. Yeah, you get the double dose every Friday. So it's patreon.com/DrDC. It's only $5 a month.
It's just the price of a cup of coffee. You could put a roof over these two podcasters. The flies are around our eyes, and I don't know how much longer we're gonna make it. So, just for the price of a cup of coffee, you can support us. The doctor has a child and a wife. I've got 2 dogs.
I think I have to stop, or we have to start paying royalties.
Oh, that's a good point. That's it for this week. We'll talk to you hopefully on Friday. If not, we'll see you next Wednesday. Ciao, ciao.
Adios.
They always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure. They are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.